Okay, you savages. I've got another grizzly bear story I'm going to share with you, all right? And I don't know why all you guys, everybody's hounding me for, tell me more bear stories, tell us more bear stories. And I got a lot more of my own, but you got to mix it up a bit, right? So I'm going to share a story with you that was shared with me from a guide who used to guide out of my camp up in the northeastern Rockies. And he guided there for years. He actually lives up there. He's an A-type guy. Big guy, you know, over 6 foot, maybe probably 220. And him and his wife were actually both working in the same camp guiding. And my partner, Mark, he was also the other guide in the same camp at the time. This is years ago, this is before I was guiding here. And this is what he told me what went down. Now picture this one. So this is back when you could still harvest a grizzly bear off of a kill, which means, you know, if you had a moose down or an elk, and then you keep tabs on it from wherever you are, and then eventually maybe a big grizzly might show up on it, and then you go then you can go sneak in on it and harvest it. This particular guy and his wife, they had one American hunter with them, and he had a grizzly tag and a moose tag, and he'd already shot a moose. Mark had already left camp with his hunter. He went off down one end of the valley. There's a burn above camp. You can see it right here in this burn where I videotaped these two moose fighting. And basically this all went down within 100 yards where I videotaped these two bulls beating the crap out of each other right here. So you can see in the burn it's quite thick. It doesn't take much for something that's only 3-4 feet off the ground to disappear into this stuff. They were on the opposite side of the valley first thing in the morning, riding out the horse trail, and they glanced across, and here's this great big dark blob in the burn. Up at the spotting scope, sure enough, it's a monster boar grizzly bear, and he's on something in the burn, not too far from the horse trail. Obviously, it's go time, game on. They ride back down the trail to camp, which, you know, it's 10 minutes. And then you got to ride down the airstrip to this other trail that circles up through the trees and up into the burn. And that only takes about maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's still first thing in the morning, it's cold, so the air's sinking down, right? Thermals. And they're coming up. Off this long mountain, it's all fingers, draining fingers, little ridges coming down off the side of this mountain into the burn. So they ride up one side of these fingers, rode up this side to tie up, because you just go to the top of the little finger, and that boar is going to be right there. So they rode up, tied up their horses. As they're tying up, the frickin' hunter decides to go running up. He's all excited, I guess. Whatever was going through his brain didn't go through it correctly. His brain was not firing correctly because the idiot left them, hustled his ass up the little ridge, probably told the guide, you know, I'm just going to go up there, it's going to take a look. Whatever happened, this is what happened. The guy goes up the ridge, which is only, you know, it's only 10 yards. And all of a sudden, he up and raises his rifle, flicks off the safety, and boom, sends around at this bear without the guide beside him, without the guide there. Nothing. No teamwork. Didn't do what he's supposed to do. It's an absolute cluster of an experience. I mean, I've never had something that stupid happen. Well, I've had some hunters do some stupid shit, but not like this. This is rare, dumb move. I mean, you can't be any more stupid. But anyway, get along the story. So this guy up and fires around after the bear, shoots it in the guts, wounds it, the bear takes off, disappears into the thick stuff. Unbelievable. What do you even say to that? I mean, that's a major penalty. That's game misconduct. But anyway, so the guide had had his own rifle. And for all you people out there, you know, it's overwhelming how many people watching our past hunt stories are all commenting about carrying a sidearm, I can't believe you would carry a sidearm or a rifle. And, oh, it's your duty to keep the hunter safe. It's like, guess what? Here's the actual facts of how it goes down when you're going on a guided hunt. Number one, if you come on a guided hunt with me or anybody else in British Columbia, Alaska, the Yukon, wherever, you are the hunter. You are the one with the gun. You're the one that does the killing. You're the one with the tag. Legally, I don't have a tag. The guides don't have a tag. The guides aren't allowed to hunt legally. You are the hunter. You are the one that practiced for your guide here. You're the one that's going to make the accurate shot, okay? And as far as taking care of you and being your bodyguard, You're a hunter. You got a set of nards between your legs. You're coming hunting. Put on your man pants and let's go. I'm not here to frickin' wrap a blanket around you and put a soother in your mouth. We're going big game hunting. Got it? It's not in the job description to be a paid bodyguard for a hunter when you're hunting guide. You wouldn't believe how many guys I know that don't bring a gun and never have brought a gun for years of guiding. And these are murderer experienced hunting guides. They just don't bring a gun. So let's get that straight off the bat for all you guys that whine and cry about bringing a sidearm. You're an idiot for not bringing a sidearm into bear country. Well, if you're an idiot for not bringing a sidearm into bear country, then what are you going to say to all those thousands and thousands and thousands of tourists that go into national parks every year where there's grizzly bears? They don't bring sidearms either, okay? Go hound on them. There's my rant. So anyway, getting back to the story. The guide obviously had a rifle with him. Whatever he said to the hunter, I don't know what was said. He just carried on, went straight into the story. And I'll tell you what, it's creepier than hell listening to somebody tell you what it was like to get pounced on and chewed on by a large male wounded boar grizzly bear. It's just something, you know, no matter how experienced you are, how many years you have out there, the worst nightmare you could ever think up in hunting world is a monster grizzly bear on top of you shredding the living shit out of you. It doesn't get, how's it going to get worse than that? It's not going to get worse than that. Bush plane crash is right up there, but you know what? Having a wounded 800-pound raging angry grizzly bear on top of you shredding you. Whoa. So anyway, they're trailing the bear and it's late season, so that's October. In October in the north, it's frosty, it's frozen every night. There's frost and everything, it was clear. Usually there's snow on the ground. There's no snow on the ground at this particular moment, but there's frost everywhere. So when there's frost, it's easy to track. So he said he got to where the bear was standing, a little bit of blood, a little bit of fur, off it goes, and he said he was tracking it by where it had knocked off all the frost as he went along. So his wife, the other guide, she's actually a guide as well, and the hunter, they're back behind him to his left flank. I think he set it on 20 yards, 25 yards away from him back here. He's on point, tracking the bear, and he took note that he could see some kind of wetter slime. Every sporadically, there's like wetter slime in the trail as it went, about 100 yards, okay? So he's going through this thick burn. He's up to 100 yards now. All of a sudden, there's a chunk of intestine laying there on the ground. So what this bear was doing, he'd been shot in the guts from this idiot hunter, and his intestines were dragging behind him and hooking up on branches and pulling on logs. So he got pissed off, and he chewed his own intestine off so it wouldn't keep hooking onto the branches as he was cruising along trying to get away from these guys. Another thing you got to take note is, if you're going after a huge, the biggest black bear you can ever think of, you shoot it, you wound it, 99.9% of the times, once you trail that bear and get up on him, if he's still alive, they're cowering from you. They're trying to get away from you. Same with wolves, same with cats, same with big, huge bull moose, elk, everything. 99.9% of the time, those game animals, they want to get away from you when you're trailing them and they're wounded. Now, 100% of the time, those mountain grizzly bears are going to set up to try to kill you. That's all there is to it. They are going to set up to try to kill you. Unless they die before you get to them as you're trailing them. If they're still alive, he's going to try to kill you. Personally, like I've gone after a handful of wounded grizzly bears and there's nothing worse. There's no macho shit about it. There's no bragging about going after a wounded grizzly bear. It sucks. It absolutely sucks to go after a wounded grizzly bear because some doorknob wounded it and made a shitty shot. And I'm not being a dick when I deliver it. I sound like a dick right now probably, but it is a bit of a piss off when people screw up and they don't listen to you and lives are put at risk. And it's not fair. You know, if it's wide open, you can see that bear's got, you know, a few hundred yards to get to cover, you know, let the hunter do his deal. But typically you're going to be in thick stuff. You get a shot at a big monster grizzly bear like that, you're only going to get one shot. When you shoot him, he's going to be gone. And they are greased lightning. There's nothing faster than a grizzly bear. I don't care what anybody says. In North America, when a bear wants to frickin' pull it, you know, kick it in gear, they're brown lightning. And that's all they are. They're brown lightning. So the guy's trailing the bear, and comes across this chunk of intestine laying on the trail. He's probably, you know, it's a bit of a sight, obviously. You see the attitude in that bear. He's like, oh, getting hooked up. Chews his frickin' intestine off, keeps going. And he kept going, and he's noticed that the bush is getting a little thicker up ahead, and he's kind of expecting shit to go down, and sure enough, boom, here it comes. It was an 8'2", I think, 8'2" or 8'4". That's a big bear. It's a big bear. Mountain grizzly bear is coming out, busts out of the willow, and is flying at him, doing Mach 5, coming to kill him. And where he screwed up was he stayed standing, gun up, boom, shot at the bear, and shot over its back. And that's actually a very, very common story, because they are so fast. If you're shooting down on them, stand up, and a bear's going to charge on you, if you're going to miss, you're going to shoot over its back. So what you need to do is, the bear charges you, you drop to your knee, and you start pulling trigger, because then you're at the same level as the bear, and you're going to hit him. Take note, in case you ever need that advice, that's what you need to do. When the bear charges, you drop to your knee, and you start shooting. You don't stand up and shoot at them, because they're going so fast, you can shoot over the back. So anyways, he shot over its back. So the bear nails him, blows him over, because that's another thing what they typically do. The grizzly will blow you over, mow you over, then they spin, and they pounce on you, and then they shred the living shit out of you, and they typically go for your head and your face. He said that everything went slow motion. We've all, not all of us, but I've had that. I mentioned that in previous hunt stories. When the shit goes down, everything goes slow motion. It's like a built-in survival thing in us. And there's actually a term for it, medical or scientific term for it. But anyway, so the bear blew him over, spins around, and he told me flat out, he goes, you know what, no matter how confident you think you are, how tough you think you are, how you think you might react and smoke a bear when it goes down, he said, as soon as that bear blew him over, he went straight back to as if he was just a scared little kid. He said he panicked and was trying to crawl on his hands and knees to get away from it after it blew him over, and it pounced on him and ripped into his ass. Can you imagine those teeth hammering through your ass cheek? And then it started hammering in the back of his leg, and that's when he said, I'm going to die, this is it, I'm going to die here. And then his brain took over, and he spins around, still had his rifle, had jacked another round into his rifle, and this is a straight up story. This happened. And now the bear's coming for his face. Obviously, he's got his hands up. The bear starts ripping into his arm. Obviously, that was between the bear's face and his face. Gets the barrel over and pumps one into the bear and kills it, and it dies on his legs. Oh my God. Could you imagine that? I mean, that's right out of the movies. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that happening? I just couldn't. I mean, I've got a few bears myself that I've shot over the years. I got a monster bear, a little bigger than the one mentioned in the story, and I can put my head in that thing's skull. I just could not imagine having one of those things raging, like raging. You know, you'll never. I don't know of any other big game animal that displays their emotions so clearly as a grizzly bear. The rage. They can display frustration, and they can display absolute rage very clearly. They get it across very clearly that they're raging. You know, that's amazing. It's very intimidating too. So, you know, that's everybody's worst nightmare. If you work in the bush, if you work in the north, if you ever want to daydream up your worst experience you could ever come up with, it would definitely be having an 800-pound monster grizzly bear on top of you about to rip your face off. So anyways, bear landed on his legs, and they got him out of there, back to the horses, and they rode back to camp. My partner Mark, he was on the other end of the valley. He said he told me he heard the shots, and he thought, oh, they must have got a big bear. And then he said a couple hours later he saw the plane come in and land. So he thought that was kind of odd, and sure enough, so they took the guide out and flew him direct from camp all the way into Fort Nelson to get all this holes sewn up. And then I didn't hear exactly what happened. I'm sure with the hunter, I'm sure he got a verbal trashing, no doubt. And then they flew another guy, Danny Moore. They flew Danny Moore in after they flew the guide out. They flew Danny Moore in. Another guy, been there forever. He's been around over. And he went in and actually skinned out the bear and salvaged the bear and got it all caped out and then brought it back out to camp. And that's what happened. Crazy, eh? So, yeah. There's an experience I wouldn't wish on anybody. You know, I know a few people that have been chewed on, but there you go. You guys wanted another bear story? There you go, you got one. And yes, I've got many other stories to come, and I've got a lot. I got a handful more bear stories myself. Got a crazy cougar story, and wolves. You name it, I got a bunch of goofy stories to share yet. So there you go. So while I've got you guys here, I got to share something with you. We created co-created a stillwater fly fishing app with world-renowned Brian Chan and Phil Rowley, and it's our 1-year anniversary of that app launching, and it was ranked, got judged as one of the top 3 fishing apps available to the world for 2018. So that's pretty exciting. It's right here. If you're a fly fisherman or you know a fly fisherman, click on the link right here and go grab it and take a look at it. Download it for free and get better. We also have one of the very first hunting app I come up with, the big game hunting app. It'll help you out with black-tailed deer, white-tailed deer, elk, moose, bears, and wolves are all on it. It's all professional guide knowledge, no BS, no selling products, and you can download that in this link. And if you are a black-tailed deer fanatic, which I am, you can download that app as well if you want to take that one with you on your hunts. They all work without the internet connection. That's the key. You can take all the professional guide lessons with you anywhere on the planet, and that's pretty handy. And another exciting thing what we have coming up is I have partnered up with Safari Club International, and we are going to make one of the most exciting, biggest, helpful hunting apps available to the world today. And that's in the making right now. It should be launching in a few months. Very exciting, very cool. And you're going to see some popular faces in there as well, but more importantly, you're going to have knowledge from all over the world jammed into that Safari Club SCI World Hunting app. So keep your eyes open for that one too. And then, well, there you go. I've got some more hunt stories to share with all you guys. Some crazy ones. I got some crazy trapping stories, and I'm going to try to put up an effort into bringing those to you guys on more of a regular basis. And one other note I want to share with you guys is about the audio. You know, the very first videos we had come out, the hunt stories, on the editing program, when you're listening to the audio on the video in the editing program, it sounds perfect. And unfortunately, whatever happens when you export that video from the editing program, and it goes onto our phones automatically make the audio way louder. That's what happened to all the original first hunt story videos. And it is annoying, and it annoys the shit out of me too, but it is what it is. They're all getting better now, and that's why I have left out, there's no sound in this video. We'll see how this turns out, how much you guys like it. Obviously, it's not about the sound, it's about the story and the experience being shared. So that's what happened in the other videos. We're on it. It's not going to happen again. Sorry about that. We might even, who knows, maybe I'll do some of those earlier hunt stories, and I'll do a remake of them without any sound at all. We'll make it a lot better for some of the people that get really annoyed. But anyway, there you go. Hunt stories. Keep watching. There's going to be more coming.